With Red Dead's Halloween Call to Arms update quickly approaching, I thought I'd make an ultimate guide on how to complete Call to Arms without dying. I will give you as much knowledge as I know in hopes that you become so good to the point where you can completely solo Call to Arms. In order to reliably stay alive, you have to have the correct weapons for each map, good build, and knowledge of how to kill and avoid your greatest NPC threats. With that being said, let's get right into the guide. Now, before you even think about buying your first weapon, you need to change something far more important than your weapon loadout, and that is your settings. With good settings, you can increase your comfortability when playing the game, which makes it easier to perform while playing. Let me just show you guys a couple of changes I made to the settings. These settings, they won't only help you in just Call to Arms, these will literally help you in all of your game modes. So I'm gonna just go ahead, run you guys through the settings real quick. Change both of these to wide, lock on mode on mount and on foot to wide, max out your aim assist. And for third person controls, I switched from standard to standard FPS, so when I'm aiming, I don't have to take my thumb off the right stick to aim. I can just use my left stick to run and my right stick to aim, so it's more efficient when getting headshots and stuff, or sniping in PvP, literally any game mode you play. So look sensitivity is max, aim sensitivity, this is completely preference. I have a couple of notches from the top because, you know, I just like to aim like that when I'm free aiming. Aim look acceleration, max that out. Look dead zone, completely put that down. And I pretty much have the same settings for third person as first person. So, yep. Toggle to run, definitely. No other one, you definitely want toggle to run. Tap assist hold, so like if you're fist fighting and you're trying to choke somebody out, you can just hold the button down instead of mashing it. It's so much easier. Radar, always have that on expanded, very important, because if you're in a mission, your radar, you need to see your radar where the enemies are, especially for the Machete Guys. So you definitely need this on expanded. But yeah, those are pretty much the settings you're gonna need when doing Call to Arms. Now let's talk about your ability card loadout. Ability cards can make or break your gameplay no matter how good your weapon loadout is. If you have trash ability cards, you're going to be at an extreme disadvantage. So let's go ahead and get into the ability cards. Now, before we go any further, let me go ahead and just say this. Red Dead is a game of preference. So, I mean, I could sit here and use Moment to recuperate and be like, oh my god, it's the best Deadeye card. I could go in, complete a Call to Arms solo with Moment to recuperate and tell you it's the best. Really? Yes, at the end of the day, you can use whatever you want, but I'm gonna give you guys the absolute best slash meta, whatever you want to call it, the meta build. So, if you're doing any content that requires you to kill people, paint it black 100% of the time. You do not want to use any other card. Paint it black is a must-have card. Do not take this card off. Next card that goes hand in hand is Eye for an Eye. Now, look, this is a Deadeye regeneration card, but I'm gonna tell you right now, you do not need any damage card. I promise you, if you're doing Call to Arms, it is a one-shot kill to the head, and I will show you all the different ways. If you think you need damage card for Juggernauts, you don't, because I'm going to show you ways to kill Juggernauts without any damage cards at all, because I use this loadout when I play Call to Arms. So, all of these yellow cards, you don't need a single one of them when doing Call to Arms or any other events versus NPCs, bro. You do not. And Eye for an Eye, it does cut down on some tonic usage when it comes to your Deadeye tonics. But that's not really why I use it. I use it because you can basically get more kills. Because the less time you spend taking tonics is the more time you can spend shooting. So that's pretty much Eye for an Eye. Goes hand in hand with Painted Black. Beautiful combination. The best defensive card in the game, fool me once. Use this if you're PvPing, PvE, use this. Do not take this card off. This is the best defensive card in the game. It gives stackable damage reduction per shot. The best defense card, non-negotiable. Do not take it off. And so, the third one is more of like what you're going for. If you want to, you know, take a couple of less tonics, if you just want that more survivability, Strange Medicine is very good. When you shoot someone, you get some of the health back after you shoot someone, It's a very comfortable way to play with Strange Medicine. If you don't mind taking the extra tonics and you want some more damage reduction, you can definitely go with the Iron Lung. It regenerates your stamina, and depending on your current stamina, you take less damage. So Iron Lung plus Fool Me Once, very good combination. But if you want to be a little bit more comfortable, go Strange Medicine. Now, the last card I would recommend, you don't need any of these cards. Really. The only other card I would recommend is Never Without One, but it's only for a very specific situation. So this is basically Iron Lung, but without the stamina requirement. So whenever you have the hat on, you gain damage reduction in general. Now, I personally don't use it because the only really reason why I would use it is by using the Beaver Garment, which allows you to put your hat on without the use of a horse. So this is the only time I would use this card, but it's really not that serious. Like, bro, you're playing Call to Arms. This is not the sweaty PvP series. Like, you don't really need it, Call to Arms. So I would really just recommend either Iron Lung or Strange Medicine. Me personally, I like Strange Medicine. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the abilities. And now for your weapon loadout. Your weapon loadout depends greatly on which map you play, and I personally like to separate my weapon loadouts based on the two different ranges. So you got the close range maps and the long range maps. Now, while weapons are completely preference, I will give you some of my favorite and easiest weapon loadouts to use on each map. So a weapon that is not only the best weapon in the game, but is also very easily accessible as a lower level, is the Lancaster Repeater. Hands down, best repeater, if not best weapon in the game. Now, some people will bring the Evans repeater into the conversation. It's just nowhere close to the Lancaster. I understand if you like using certain weapons, maybe even because it sounds better. But the main argument people bring up when talking about the difference between the Lancaster and the Evans is the ammo capacity. And it really doesn't matter because the Lancaster has such a high reload and it also has a very good ammo capacity of 14. So it has better damage and better range than the Evans repeater. So best repeater in the game. You should probably use this weapon for whatever content you're playing. It's that good. So now, let's say you were to play on the different maps. So if I were to go to Telegrams, Call to Arms. So for Strawberry and Valentine, these are probably the two closest range maps. And of course, with the Halloween Call to Arms maps coming out, there are going to be a couple more close maps and stuff there too. So if you're playing on Strawberry and Valentine as a solo, here's what I would run. Lancaster, always. I would get you some Dynamite, or you can get Dynamite in the actual game mode, it doesn't matter. But Lancaster, Dynamite, a Dynamite bow. Now look, this one is optional. If you have Dynamite bows, why not take it? It doesn't take much to craft. But, not everybody has access to the pamphlet. In that case, I would just take a shotgun or something. But let's say, here, let me give you a loadout if you did have access to everything that I have. I would take a Dynamite bow and then 2 sawed-offs. So, sawed-offs for the Juggernaut, the Lancaster for all the other enemies, and the Dynamite bow for the wagon. So, let's say you didn't have a Dynamite bow and you were a lower level, because that would be the only reason why you didn't have a Dynamite bow. This is when I would run something. Now, I don't know if repeating shotgun is available to lower levels, but any shotgun can work. It could be repeating, semi, not double barrel, just any good shotgun. Look up good shotguns. So, Lancaster, shotgun, and up here, I would use 1 revolver and 1 pistol. Now, your choice of revolver and pistol don't matter because you're using painted black. You're going to paint their heads anyway. I would just do 3 different weapons to have 3 different ammo types, because if you're not even a high enough level to have the Dynamite bow, then you're probably not a high enough level to have express rounds or maybe high velocity rounds. So it'll be easier if you run multiple different weapons so you can have a bigger pool of ammo plus a repeating shotgun. And once you get to rounds, I think it's 9 and 10, they'll give you dynamite bows anyway. So in rounds 9 and 10, you can switch out your shotgun for dynamite bows. So that's pretty much what I would run if I was on a close range map. Now, long range map, that's easy. I would run Carcano and the sawed-off. So if I was on, you know, Blackwater, Fort Mercer, definitely Fort Mercer, 100% need a sniper on Fort Mercer, non-negotiable. You can get away with it without having a sniper on Blackwater and McFarland's Ranch, but it's much easier if you have one, especially if you're kill hunting. If you're competing with your posse members for kills, you need a sniper. It's gonna get you way more kills than everyone else in the game. Just a little tip there. But yeah, that's pretty much the loadouts, you know. Always have a Lancaster, always have some form of shotgun, and use a sniper on the longer range maps. That's pretty much the gist of it. Now you can mix and match, you know, switches out for the Evans, switches out for the rolling block. I mean, I don't recommend rolling block, but if that's what you got, then that's what you got. You know, just mix and match, experiment. But this is what I find to work the easiest for me. Now comes the most important part of your survivability, which are tonics. Now, your tonics probably play the biggest role when it comes to survivability. So you got your health tonics, stam tonics, deadeye tonics, and then you got your food. So the only tonic you need for any regular game mode, any PvE game mode, is a level 1 health tonic. You don't need level 2s, you don't need level 3s. Level 2s and 3s are for PvP and PvP only. All you need is something to refill your health and give you that nice golden core in the bottom left. So, level 1 health tonics. For your deadeye tonics, I recommend chewing tobacco. Honestly, that's the one I've been using for the longest. One of my homies put me on this a long time ago. Now, maybe it could be more cost efficient to run snake oils. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't know. I like chewing tobaccos. They're quick and easy. If you run, you know, if you run level 1 snake oils, I'm pretty sure that's fine too. But run what you want. Stam tonics, you don't need stam tonics. For your food, you can stack up on like canned stuff, but the most important food you need is Minty Big Game, so it can fortify your health core. So you definitely need this when it comes to Call to Arms, because a lot of weird stuff can happen. A lot of glitches, a lot of stuff that you don't intend to happen will happen. Like, I'll be running around in Valentine and get ran over by a wagon or a horse. It is not fun, and you need something to combat that. So just be on the lookout. You need Minty Big Game. I would go into a match with no less than 2 Minty Big Game, because when you die, it takes away your Minty Big Game. You got to eat another one to reactivate it, or maybe it runs its duration out, which I don't know how long it lasts. It lasts a pretty long time, but if you take one in wave 5, you'll probably need to take another one near the end of wave 9 or 10. So just go into the game mode with a lot of Minty Big Game. Just 1 big game meat and 1 uncooked big game meat, along with 1 piece of mint. Simple. So, and of course you can stack up on all of these in the catalog. So, provisions, tobacco. This is where you buy your chewing tobacco, and then your tonics. Of course, you can't buy big game meat. You gotta go hunt them. The best place to hunt big game meat is where I'm at right now. Is LaGraw. Go get you some alligators. They're literally all around here. Here's a good spot for them to spawn. Good spot here. Got a good spot over here. And here's some good mint spots in LaGraw. This is why I love having my camp in LaGraw. So somewhere around this little pond right here is where you'll see about 3 or 4 mint spawns right around this pond. If you go right here in LaGraw, and right around here is another very good mint spawn. So if you need to grab some quick mint before you start, you're in LaGraw right here, grab the mint, kill you some alligators along the way, all up in here. There's even some over here. They're all over the graph. Get what you can, get the Minty big game. Now I think it's best to show you some gameplay in Valentine, just to give you a good insight of threats to look out for and the most important tips and tricks when playing Call to Arms. So as soon as you spawn in, you want to make sure you take out all the wagons and all the dynamite on the map, because these can prove to be problems later on into the game mode, because you got a lot going on and you're not going to be able to remember everywhere where there's a piece of dynamite at. And NPCs can and will shoot the dynamite and you will die from it. It has happened to me in the past and has not happened to me since, because every single time I load in, I always destroy the dynamite. Next thing is decide whether or not you want to be on the roof or not. This could also be very helpful to especially newer players to be on a higher vantage point. If you're playing solo though, I do not recommend it, because if you get trapped up on the roof, you pretty much got to shoot your way out of gun battles. There's no cover to cover on top of a roof, so you got to shoot your way out. That's why I prefer to play on the ground, but rooftops can be very useful when you know how to use them. Let's go ahead and skip to wave 5, because you know, wave 1 through 4 is pretty easy, and I'm not gonna lie, if you die on waves 1 through 4, you're gonna need a little bit more than this guy to help you out. No, I'm just playing, but for real though, you should not be dying waves 1 through 4 unless you're like literally trolling. So now at wave 5, this is where I highly recommend you to take your first Minty big game of the match. This is just to give you that extra safety net of protection all the way up until like the end of round 9, beginning of round 10, and then you'll have to take your second one. Or if you feel safe enough to hold off till like end of wave 6 or beginning of wave 6, you can also try that. I just recommend just taking one here to be safe and then taking one at the end of wave 9. Now moving on to wave 6, there's not much to cover in this wave other than the fact that the machete people spawn. So machete people will one-shot you if they get too close. This is why you have the expanded radar function that I talked about in the settings. Use expanded radar, and what I like to do, I treat every single red dot as if they're a machete guy. If there's a red dot getting close to me and I can't see them, I will run away before I look to aim and shoot at them, because you never know. By the time you turn around, it could be a machete guy shanking you in your chest. So just try and run as soon as you can. Now moving on to wave 7, this is where your first machine gun wagon will appear. Now here's your second biggest threat of the match. The first biggest threat are the machete guys. They will continue to spawn in this round. That's why you have to be so vigilant of them. Your second biggest threat is wagons. A lot of players die to wagons because they will gun you down quickly, and another reason why they die to them is because they don't have fool me once. This is where the fool me once card comes in handy, so you don't get instantly one shot. But anyways, here are a couple of different ways that you can take out these wagons. Now, of course, you can always, shoot the gunners, get the wagon to become stationary, and then throw a dynamite at the wagon to take it out. Now, this would be the most ideal way to take out a wagon, but of course, not everything is ideal. That is why I have the quicker options, such as the dynamite bow. But if you take out the gunner, if it's stationary, or if you're just a really good shot, what you're able to do is actually paint the wagon. Now, you can paint the gunner in the head, but you will not be able to auto aim onto the gunner. That's why it takes a little bit more time for you to kill the gunner this way than some of the other methods I'm about to show you. Now, painting the gunner is a very good method and one of the easiest ways to take out a wagon when you don't have access to a dynamite bow. This is probably what you should be doing, especially if you're too far away to actually throw a piece of dynamite at it, And but the easiest way to do it for me is to just whip out the D-bow, paint the driver, because it auto locks onto the driver, and just shoot the driver with the dynamite bow, and then the whole wagon will explode and you'll get 3 kills right there. So definitely the easiest way, and we're moving on. Juggernauts are your third biggest threat when playing Call to Arms, and the reason why players have a lot of trouble with them is because they handle them ineffectively. They're constantly trying to pour rifle shots and repeater shots into them when there's no need for that. So here are some good ways of taking out the Juggernauts. Now, this first way isn't the best way, but it works. I'm recommend tonicking up before you use this, but as you can see, you just push them to the ground and pour shotgun shells into them. Like I said, it works, but not the safest method and can go wrong in more ways than you can think. So just be careful when using this, but you can use this to take out the Juggernauts. Now the next way, and probably the better method, is by running up to them and activating Deadeye while just pouring shotgun shells into them. As you can see, it takes from full health all the way down. This is definitely better than pushing them over, because once you activate Deadeye, all of your bullets will go in one single spot that your crosshair's at. So the Juggernaut will eat all the shotgun bullets and you don't have to be that close to him. I definitely recommend this method. It's a very good method to kill them for when they are alone. Now, probably the best and the fastest way to take them out would be painting them with the Dynamite and then shooting them with the Dynamite bow. Probably the quickest way, other than using 2 Dynamite bows on one. But the reason why I don't really use this method is because it uses a Dynamite bow, which you need for the Wagons. So you can use it if you're in an extreme pinch, but other than that, I wouldn't use this method unless you really need to. But my personal favorite to get rid of the Juggernauts is by painting them with the Dynamite and finishing them off with the shotguns, because when you paint them with the Dynamite, you can shoot them kind of from a distance. It's really nice and comfortable to just take them out this way. This is probably my favorite way of taking them out and the easiest. And that is it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this guide. This is the reason why I don't try to shove Juggernauts, but yeah. But if you watched till the end and you enjoyed this video, go ahead and subscribe and like the video. And let me know in the comments your favorite tips and tricks for Call to Arms or for Red Dead in general.